Hey y'all, thanks for spending some time with me on my night off. I didn't say it last time around in my first video, but I've got some work to do on here, so, if you like what you hear, click bish. Click the like button, click subscribe. Quite a bit to talk about tonight, so I actually have some notes. I'll try to stick to them as best I can. And to get started, can we talk about Katy Perry? So I know she's been done to death, so I'm not here to litigate the fall of Katy Perry and the downfall of her career, although we will talk about another downfall later in this video. For the most part, I've tried to avoid any Katy Perry related clickbait content. That album was just so bad, and I happen to like Katy Perry. It was just such a misstep, and everybody said it all. There's really nothing new to say. But I can tell you that I've always been perplexed about what the hell happened to her that she ended up with the album that she did and released it thinking it would be received any better than it was. Because shouldn't have been, and it obviously certainly wasn't. And I was listening to a review by The Needle Drop, and it was a review of Witness. So I'm like, let me go back to the album and listen to it as he's, doing the review. As I was scrolling through, I came across a Zane Lowe interview with her, and I listened to it, and I'm glad I did because I finally have some answers on what the hell she was thinking with 143. Now, first, let me say about Zane Lowe, he has a way of interviewing artists and making the most inane, ridiculous artists with the lamest, most surface level albums come across as if they are Warhol discussing his exhibit at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. The way that he can be interested in not only the questions he's asking of the people he's interviewing, much less the responses, is really what makes him an ace and one of the best in the business. But what fascinated me about the interview is that Katy Perry made a point to say that she had recovered, that she had made every other album in her career out of a place of, trauma and depression and heartache, and that, artists are told they have to suffer for their art, and that that's not true. And this was the first album that she made where she didn't feel like she was coming from a place of pain, which is unfortunate because it's a terrible album. And if she's as happy as this shit is terrible, then she should be the face of the Prozac campaign. It was also funny because, and I'm going to play it for you, back when she flew off to outer space as one of the first female astronauts, I remember being really perplexed by that too, thinking like, what the hell are you thinking? What the hell are you saying? I believe context matters, and I try to read between the lines, and I had that interview that she did when she got off of the spaceship, and I'm going to play it for you. I want you to listen to it in the context of her having been told by Jeff Bezos, you were doing an infomercial or an advertisement for space tourism. So when you get off of that craft, assuming you do, and we've done our safety checks, we want you to speak to what it feels like to be an astronaut. Because these rich bitches that are paying for these trips, they're going to want to know they're astronauts when they get off the spacecraft. Like, that's included in the bundle price. So play up the fact that you're an astronaut, play up the fact that it was a life-changing experience, that you do it all over again. And that's exactly what she did, and that's exactly what she sounded like. And I want you to listen to it as if you're listening to a QVC ad for space travel and space tourism, and tell me if you don't interpret what she's saying just a little bit differently than you did when she sounded like she just got back from some sort of retreat the first time that you heard it.
I think this experience has shown me you never know how much love is inside of you, like how much love you have to give, and how loved you are until the day you launch.
Where does this experience rate for you?
This experience is second to being a mom. And to go to space is incredible.
Before I let you get back to your family, I just have to ask you, describe for us, because you're so brilliant at putting, words together and describing moments that we can all appreciate later. How would you describe the moment when you took off and then the moment you landed?
This whole journey is not just about going to space. It's the training, it's the team, it's the whole thing. I couldn't recommend this experience more. This is like up there with all the, different tools that I've learned in my life, from meditation to the Hoffman process. This is up there because what you're doing is you're like really finding the love for yourself, because you got to trust in yourself on this journey. And then you're feeling the love when you come down, for sure.
You are now officially an astronaut. And let me just tell you, on behalf of everyone here at Blue Origin, our webcast, and everyone, all of these individuals that put this incredible thing on, congratulations.
And I was with her, and I was rooting for her. I was starting to understand why she made the non-album that she did. And then she went ahead and said it. She said, I have to tell you, Zane, there just aren't very many astronauts. And I'm like, This crazy lady, this crazy bitch thinks she's Buzz Aldrin. She really does think she's an astronaut. So one step forward and two steps back with Katy Perry, and I'm back on the Katy Perry hate train. So moving on, I work two jobs, and in my second job, I work for a tough little Spanish lady. She's funny as hell. We have a great time. Well, she found out I was doing this whole my night off, talk about pop culture, hang out with you guys type thing, and she wanted me to talk about this Annabelle doll. So if you've ever seen those Conjuring movies, that possessed doll that went on murderous rampages, and I think two low-budget, high-grossing movies or sequels. So anyway, the owner of this doll gets together with all of the other wacky owners of all the other little possessed dolls in the nation and decide that they're going to go on a haunted doll tour.
Dan Rivera, who's 54 years old, and he's one of the most famously known paranormal investigators. And he's also someone that's been taking care of the Annabelle doll. It's the doll that you've seen in the movies. That doll is indeed real. Dan Rivera was actually taking the original possessed Annabelle doll on an all-America tour where they make the doll travel from every single state, and they were just trying to get all the haunted dolls across the world all together in one room and try to communicate with all of these demons that are possessed inside of these dolls.
Put them in a circle, I guess draw a big fat pentagram, and then summon some demons, say some incantations, communicate with the dead, and who knows what else, right? I don't know what they were thinking in getting this whole thing together. I mean, thinking it's cute to cast a few spells and summon a few demons, and then the demons actually show up. I mean, first of all, it'd be scary as hell. Second of all, how dumb would you feel? Not a good idea in my book, whether or not you believe in this Annabelle doll or not. But anyway, I guess before they can complete this tour, the owner died of natural causes. Well, supposedly.
Now it seems like the caretaker Dan Rivera himself passed away a few days ago in a very mysterious way. Now what's bizarre about this whole situation is that the doctors have not yet concluded on what is the cause of Dan's death. Now usually when someone dies, we always get the reports of how they died and what the cause of the death is. But in Rivera's case, it seems like his death reports are yet to be revealed and the doctors are not yet confirming on what the actual reason is for Dan to mysteriously pass away. Now one thing was just confirmed from the police reports is that there was no foul plays or whatsoever. It's supposed to be some sort of a natural death, but then we don't know what was the cause of this natural death.
And of course, it's not long before people start saying it was this Annabelle doll. And I have a theory. My theory is this. I don't think that it was a killer doll so much as it is bad shit happens, and sometimes there happens to be a doll present. You know what I'm saying? So if you're a doll and you're sitting on a shelf, shit happens when you're sitting on that shelf. Is it that the doll killed the guy? Or is it that the guy died and the doll just happened to be in the house? So that's my theory. It's all happenstance, all coincidence, a little bit of confirmation bias, a little bit of disqualifying the negative, bang, bang, boom, you got a killer doll. But this guy could have the doll for 40 years. He could live in harmony with this doll, in holy matrimony, happily ever after. And then after 40 years, he drops dead. Was it that she waited 40 years? 40 years she waited. She was plotting to take him down. And just when he thought, maybe I had the wrong idea about this doll, bam, she strikes, kills him on the spot. Or maybe he just had the doll for 40 years. He's 72 years old, had cholesterol issues, wasn't taking a statin, and he died. I think the doll would be a great scapegoat. Honey, I've been watching what I eat. I may have gained 40 pounds, but that didn't start until you brought that damn doll out of the attic. Or ever since you brought that doll back from the flea market, I've been cheating with every Tom, Dick, and Harry. Hey, don't look at me. It's that creepy doll. I was faithful as hell until you brought that doll around. Weird things happen around that doll. So I don't know. Now that I think of it, Toys R Us went out of business, didn't it? Walmart? Does Walmart have Annabelle dolls? I need to issue a correction on JoJo Siwa. So in my last and first video, I gave her a shout out and said we had such an issue with what she was doing in Karma with the now that she's doing the Davis eyes, let's give her a break. She heard our feedback. It's funny because just like with the Katy Perry situation, I was on YouTube and one of JoJo's 10 billion Betty Davis eyes shorts came up and I clicked on it. I realized that I was wrong and I ended up watching the Karma video. I should have known better. I realized that it was just like a bunch of like cheesy but really good and really well executed choreography. And then I got to thinking, that's right. Like, that's how she got famous. She's a professionally trained dancer. And I guess for her, singing is just an afterthought. I don't know where the whole like pseudo kiss lesbianism came into the mix. I'm not really sure how that fits into the picture here, which I don't even know why she went with that. Like, you could do a pivot and not pivot that much, right? I'm all for a pivot. Like, I guess I pivoted. I didn't pivot. I mean, if going LGBTQ, well, I would think I always was, but I don't call it a pivot. But in her case, I call it a pivot. But it occurred to me when I was watching the video for Karma that she really was just trying to pull a Miley Cyrus. Even the tongue, like when she had her bangers era. But I think that she missed the brief. Like, Miley Cyrus, she wasn't successful in her bangers era because she stuck out her tongue and went from really polished kiddie pop to really polished faux adult pseudo lesbian pop. I think Miley Cyrus really did become a Hoback Riggins for those few years. Like, I don't think it was an act. Like, I think she went there. But it wasn't an act. And in JoJo's case, it's just an act. Alright, I'm starting to lose the light, so I think it's time to stop circling the airport and bring this baby in. So just a few more topics I want to talk about. First is this girl.
She got famous for talking about her methods for and to be honest, her taking that one moment and turning it into millions of dollars in opportunities was impressive to say the least. But
so I keep seeing the rise and fall, the final downfall of the Tuah girl. Can I just say, I didn't even know she had a rise. Like, why are these 30-minute instant rise celebrities, why are we even giving them a downfall and a rise? The backpack kid from Katy Perry's SNL performance of Swish Swish, he didn't have a rise. He doesn't get a downfall. He had a moment. And that's what Tuah girl had. But now she's out here hawking, no pun intended, her meme coin. And I just have to say, anybody that trusted their finances to the Tuah girl, first of all, that trusted their finances to meme coin. The word meme and coin don't even belong in the same sentence. Like, it's a farce. It's a joke. I couldn't even imagine calling, my Edward Jones guy or Merrill Lynch and saying, hey, I wanted to check on my Schwab account. I wanted to make sure my blue chip stocks are all arranged. Oh, and by the way, can we move 20% of that to my Tuah meme coin? I don't know how you wouldn't get laughed off the phone. How can you call yourself a smart investor when you're leaning on the Tuah girl to make your 20% return? Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. If I was the Tuah girl in court, I would say, Your Honor, Exhibit A, the plaintiff put millions of dollars into an account investing in my meme coin. And by the way, Your Honor, I became famous because my name is also the sound effect for meaning to spit. And that's what I do to my man, do you know what, before that's my namesake. So here we are, from Tuah on the street corner to hawking my meme coin on the street and having the plaintiff here upset because he lost his millions of dollars in my super reputable investment opportunity. Your Honor, why are we here? You could be playing golf. I could be out with more viral moments. And this asshole could give his money away to a smart investor that at least has the sense to download Robinhood and invest in Tekashi 69's new startup. But anyway, I'm done. I'm just so done with the rise and fall of. If you're going to do a rise and fall, faceless video on YouTube, let's make sure we have a rise to document and a fall worth talking about. Tuah. The last thing I'm going to talk about is the whole celebrity crash out. I'm sorry, but I think we've been had. I think we all need to realize that these celebrities are taking advantage of our content creation skills, of the internet's ability or obsession with these hot mess celebrity moments, and turning those into marketing opportunities. How long did we watch Justin Bieber crash out? I mean, is that? Yeah, he's crashing out. I'm not saying that the crash out isn't legitimate. I think there's a component of Justin Bieber legitimately being a hot mess and headed for a conservatorship, but I think it could also be said that this could be some psyop and some very clever marketing trick or marketing technique that Scooter Braun came up with and told him drunk one night that he forgot he told him that Justin Bieber took and ran with. Same with Nicki Minaj. I can't tell you the last time Nicki Minaj came up in my Apple Music. I mean, girl is not a hit. Like, she's the queen of rap. Like, she's sold more records than any other female hip-hop star, not recently. And I know she's coming for SZA.
This is certified loser behavior, and it proves everything that Lil' Kim said in her Breakfast Club interview. Nicki wants to be the only female rapper in the room, and she's losing it.
That's where she had this whole crash out. But she's not selling albums. And this is the sad state of affairs for Nicki Minaj because some of my favorite artists, their last couple albums they had before they became has-beens, they were using Nicki Minaj as features to make their crap singles hits. And I don't think Nicki Minaj can be a feature on a Nicki Minaj single. So where does that leave her? Anyway, I just think this whole crash out thing is an opportunity to be talked about. We know that controversy begets conversation, conversation begets content, content becomes clicks, and next thing you know, my feed is cluttered and these stars are making a comeback. Let's stop awarding these crash outs. Let's take the power back as the people. How come we can't crash out? I can't. Well, Roseanne can't crash out either. Or maybe you couldn't crash out in 2016. Now you can. I don't know. But I can't crash out. No, that ain't going to work. So we can't let these stars off the hook. I don't know. And like I said, part of it's marketing savvy. Part of it is the fact that they are legitimately messes. And they're waking up the next day not remembering half of what they said hungover and trying to spin that into monetization. But in either case, let's stop rewarding it. You know we be wanting our clicks. You know we be trying to monetize too. You know we be trying to get them views. I can tell you right now, it's been very hard not to make a Meghan Markle video. It's been really hard not to try to get those subscribers up with Meghan Markle. I'm going to resist doing it as long as I can. That attitude that's making us make Meghan Markle videos for the sake of clicks so that we can further our agenda is the same broken philosophy that these crash outs are based on that we're letting these stars get away with. I know Justin was able to turn it into something. I think Swag had 116,000 and 150,000 in sales for the first week. I haven't heard of anything on Nicki on the horizon. I would just say let's think twice next time we see a crash out. I guess I just want to say that I'm on to you celebrities. I'm on to the crash out. And if I can't do it, they shouldn't be able to do it either. And you shouldn't do it. Stop entertaining the crash out. I am definitely losing the light. So if you've made it this far, thanks so much. Make sure to like and subscribe. I like spending my night off with y'all. And if it's okay with you, let's do it again next week. Until then, stay up.